Why did Brad Pitt's own children erase his last name? Why is one of the richest men in Hollywood admitting he felt suicidal? And what are the two words he refused to explain? The answers all connect, and they're darker than you think. Here's what makes this so strange. On paper, this is Brad Pitt's best year in a decade. His last movie, the racing film F1, became the biggest box office hit of his entire career. He's 62, still one of the most famous faces alive, a man who literally calls himself a guy who won the lottery. So when he sat down for a magazine cover this August, everyone expected the usual. Smile, promote the film, say nothing real. Go home. Brad did the opposite. He started talking about the drinking, about his lowest moment, about a family wound he still won't fully name. The reporter even offered him a glass of wine during the interview. Hold on to that detail. It matters later. And the deeper Brad went, the darker it got. Because to understand what nearly broke him, you have to know one thing he lost this year. It wasn't the marriage, it wasn't the money. It was something no amount of fame could protect. We'll get there. But first, the confession that started it all. For years, Brad Pitt was Hollywood's comeback story, not for a movie. Getting sober. By his own account, drinking had been a problem for a long time. Then, after his marriage collapsed in 2016, he stopped completely. He walked into Alcoholics Anonymous. He kept going for over a year. He once said he was on his knees trying anything anyone handed him. He said he needed rebooting. He even credited his friend Bradley Cooper with helping him get clean. 7 years. Not a single drink. That was the story the whole world believed. But in this new interview, Brad quietly ends it. I was sober for 7 years, he says. And then I got back off the wagon. He's drinking again. Wine, mostly, small amounts. He swears he's in control. I can have a few. But I can't have a lot. I have to be professional about it. Remember that glass the reporter offered him? Now you know why it was there. That alone made headlines. But it was the calm way he said the next part that stopped everyone cold. Because a few questions later, Brad said something you almost never hear a movie star say out loud. He opened up about his mental health. And he went somewhere most people keep buried. He admitted there was a period when he felt suicidal. I've never been suicidal except for one little period, he said. I just couldn't. I just didn't see a way out. He called the pain oppressive. Suffocating, he said. In that moment, he finally understood how someone could look at death and see relief. He was clear about one thing. He never planned to act on it. His survival instinct came roaring back. But he stood at that edge, the lowest place a person can reach. And remember, this is the man the world calls the luckiest alive. So the reporter asked the only question that mattered. What could pull Brad Pitt that far down? His answer was 2 words. Family stuff. We could leave it at that. 2 words. That's all he'd give. But those 2 words hide almost 10 years of pain. So let's open those 2 words up. Because most of this played out in public right in front of us. It begins in 2016. Angelina Jolie files for divorce. They'd been together over a decade. Married, 6 kids. One of the most powerful couples on the planet. And then it all comes apart. But here's what made it brutal. This divorce didn't end fast. It dragged on for 8 years. 8. It wasn't finalized until December 2024. That's not a breakup. That's a war. And as the years crawled by, the children pulled away. Reports say they sided with their mother. Then came the part that cuts the deepest. One by one, some of his kids began erasing Pitt from their names. His daughter Shiloh filed legal papers to drop it. Others simply stopped using it. Picture that. Your own children, deleting your name, where the entire world can watch it happen. You'd think that was rock bottom. It wasn't. Because the hardest blow of all was still coming, the thing he lost that had nothing to do with the divorce. In August 2025, Brad Pitt's mother died. Her name was Jane. She was 84, a retired school counselor from Springfield, Missouri, a painter, who spent hours teaching her grandkids to love art. To Brad, she wasn't a celebrity's mother. She was home. After she passed, he wrote that she was love in its purest form. Now, put the whole timeline in one frame. Look at what this man was actually carrying: an 8-year divorce war that refused to die. His children drifting away one after another. His own name, erased by the kids he raised. And then the woman who raised him, gone. That is the family stuff. And here's the part that should stop you. Just weeks before his mother died, Brad had the single biggest hit of his career with F1. The world saw a superstar standing on top. A winner, the luckiest man alive. But behind that famous smile, he was grieving. Fractured, quietly wondering how to keep going. That's the answer to everything we started with. What pushed the most famous man in the world to a place he couldn't see out of it wasn't one disaster. It was all of them. At the same time. And he said it better than anyone could. This ain't easy. And you're talking to a guy who won the lottery. Even the lottery winner was drowning. That's why this interview landed the way it did. Because it wasn't gossip. It was a man finally telling the truth. So where does that leave Brad Pitt right now? He's still standing. And a few things are holding him up. He's got a new film on the way called Heart of the Beast. He's not just starring, he's producing it too. So the work goes on. He's also with Inés de Ramón, a partner friends say genuinely makes him happy. After all that wreckage, that's not nothing. But the wound that matters most isn't healed. He's still tangled in a long legal fight with Angelina over their French winery, Chateau Miraval. People close to him say he's exhausted by it. One source says he's told his team to end it this year. He's 62. He doesn't want this to be the headline of his life anymore. And then there's the hope he refuses to let go of. His kids. Reports say he still wants to rebuild those bridges, especially with his youngest two. Will it happen? Nobody knows. Some bridges take years. Some never come back at all. But here's what's different now. For 30 years, Brad Pitt gave the world the smile and hid everything behind it. This time, he put the glass down, said the two words out loud, and let us see the man behind the lottery ticket. And sometimes, saying it out loud is where it finally starts. Before you go, one real thing. If any part of this hit close to home, please don't carry it alone. In the US, you can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. It's free, it's private, and someone is always there. Now, if you want the full story of how Brad and Angelina went from Hollywood's golden couple to an 8-year war, the kids, the winery, all of it, I broke it down right here. It's the perfect next watch. And if you like the real story behind the headlines, not the noise, subscribe. One honest story at a time.